Finally, let's work our way through National 2 West, where for the first time since the start of February, one of the two title candidates hit a bump in the road. And in round 22, it was leaders Camborne who lost 25-17 away at 8th placed Luctonian. So Camborne's 10-match unbeaten run coming to an end at Mortimer Park as they were halted by an excellent Luctonians defence. And I saw some Luctonians fans on social media on Saturday night describing the performance as their best display of the season. So a brilliant way for Ryan Watkins' side to end their 5-match winless run. But in terms of the bigger picture, in terms of the National 2 West title race, Luctonians denied Camborne any points at all from their visit to Herefordshire, meaning second place Clifton took full advantage as they came out on top in a 16-try bonanza with Loughborough students. Matt Salter and Luke Cousins' side eventually running out 60-36 winners at Station Road, and a ninth successive home win for Clifton now leaves them 1 point behind Camborne, with the top two set to meet on April 5th. So that is in 2 weeks' time, and that game will take place at Clifton for what could be a title decider. Now, both of the leading pair, of course, will have to negotiate round 23 first, but we could be set for a phenomenal conclusion to this title race in National 2 West. Down at the other end of the table for bottom two sides, Devonport Services and Bourneville, things are beginning to look bleak as both failed to win in round 22. Devonport, who you tend to forget, are still a fully amateur side. They did bank a try bonus point in their 43-24 loss at home to third place Taunton, while Bourneville faded away at 10th placed Old Redcliffians as they fell to a 45-20 defeat. And perhaps their setbacks were compounded by Macclesfield, who took a major step towards safety last time out, with maybe their result of the season after beating 6th place Redruth 31-14 at Priory Park. It is a result which leaves Macclesfield 9 points clear of the bottom two, with 4 games left to play. And 11th placed Exeter University, while beaten 48-38 by Hinckley in round 22, also have safety in their sights. And Exeter University are our final feature club of the week on the National League Rugby preview show. Now, they take on Old Redcliffians at home this weekend, and this is Exeter's 3rd successive season at this level. And like Loughborough students, they too are balancing their National 2 West commitments with their Bucks Super Rugby duties. And over the last few years, Exeter University have been one of the top teams in Bucks Super Rugby. They've reached the Bucks Super Rugby final, which is a showpiece event in the student game on 3 occasions. They've lifted the title twice, and that is all alongside developing and growing in National League Rugby. They have a thriving rugby programme down at Exeter, which is only enhanced by the relationship they have with Exeter Chiefs and England under-20 internationals, your likes of Kane James and Ben Cohen, who you may have seen playing in the recent Six Nations for England. They are examples of players who have dipped their toes into National League Rugby, played Bucks Super Rugby, and are now performing at a really high level. But it's not just those talented individuals that are benefiting from the programme at Exeter University. Second-year player James Boylan, who won National 2 West Player of the Week back in round 18, he's experiencing the best of National League Rugby as well as Bucks Super Rugby. So it's all part and parcel of his rugby education. So ahead of Exeter's clash with Old Redcliffians in a game which could help the university edge closer to safety in National 2 West, we caught up with James as well as Exeter's head of rugby, Gareth Elliott. Gareth, obviously, we'll focus on National 2 West to begin with, and 4 games left in your campaign to go. So how do you kind of compare potentially this season to the last couple of years that Exeter University have been competing at this level?
I think this. I mean, speaking to a few coaches in the league, I think this season's been a really tough season, like for the standard. So it shows the quality in the league. There's no freebies in this league. So we've obviously had a patch in the middle of the season where we weren't picking up as many results as we wanted to. Um, but more recently, we've had a couple of important games against sides that are closer to us in the league, and we've had a really important away win against Bourneville, which pushed us a little bit higher up the league, and obviously in the running now, we've got a chance to kind of solidify our position in the league, and I think we're showing some really good signs, especially with our attack in rugby, where we're picking up 4 tries quite regularly now. So it's just about making sure that we're defensively sound and yeah, I'm really confident heading into the end of the season.
Yeah, and obviously, James, this is Exeter University's third season in National Two West. But for yourself, this is your second year with the club. You mentioned just before we hit record that you kind of started in sort of the fresher side, but have now been kind of a regular feature, if you like, in the Saturday side in National Two West. So how have you kind of found that transition really from coming to university and playing it in National 2 West? Because we talk about it a lot, James, that it can be a kind of a bit of a learning experience, I would say for young players.
Yeah, I mean, definitely coming into uni, the initial jump of like boys rugby to men's rugby, it's a big change. Like the hits are a lot bigger, the blokes are a lot bigger, the contacts are a lot heavier. Having to manage yourself after the game to making sure you're fit for next week, a lot more important. But I guess at the end of the day, it's just making sure you're there mentally as well, because you can go into the game thinking you're all right, but you are coming up against bigger people, so you need to be prepared for that. And then definitely in my second year, being able to put on a bit of size has helped in the contacts.
I think James has shown like first season he came in and like you said maybe not as mature physically but still able to put it about, but then he's had a couple of injury like rehab periods which he's dealt with really well, and now he's in a position where obviously like early on in the season picked up sort of player of the match for us and then National League player of the weekend. Like he's had some stellar performances, so like a great example of somebody who's been able to like adapt to the rugby really well. And I think, yeah, his performances this season have been pretty outstanding. So he's one of the guys that's a leader in the group and showing some great signs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I saw James nodding along there. Yeah, this is great to hear on a Wednesday morning. Great praise from the head coach.
Yeah.
Um, just on that, Gareth, I know we've spoken a couple of times for our sister website, Talking Rugby Union, about kind of the development and the learning experience it does give some of these young lads. And James is an example, Gareth, someone who obviously plays National 2 West on a Saturday, but has played a little bit for the Wednesday side right at the very top in Buck Super Rugby. So how much can the Saturday learning experience help young players in your programme when they are potentially looking to progress in the game?
Yeah, it's huge. Like it is a different style of rugby. It's generally what James mentioned about like the size of players that you're playing against. So like maybe the speed is a little bit down, but the size that you have to deal with. So it teaches, especially from a set piece forwards point of view, it teaches you how to manage a set piece from a particularly scrum and maul standpoint. And I think that then sets guys up really well for the rest of their career, really. Like they get to play adult rugby, they understand the challenges of that. They're also able to play some university rugby where they're able to express themselves a little bit more in terms of the speed of the game. And like doing those at the same time mean that you have pretty broad base of your sort of rugby knowledge and rugby curriculum.
Having to play the two different leagues, it is kind of two different tactics. Like as Gareth said, it's a bit slower in the National League, but we've got to make sure our set piece it's a lot more steady and important, and we really put a focus on that when we're training for that. But then again, when we're all training together, there's a lot of change between the Bucks and the National League side. So you're kind of learning both sides where you can take a few skills from the National League and be putting them into Bucks and vice versa. I mean, in huddles, we're always talking about how it's one team all together, like it's one team, multiple leagues, but we're all there to make each other better. So making sure everyone's there for training and helping out. And I know definitely in the Saturday side, we come together in the team. Also, the little individual sections of like improving your individual skills, definitely going with a few of the Chiefs boys or Quins boys or anyone everyone's got their own tips and tricks and how to advise people on what to do, and that will help a lot. Like I know I've definitely been given a few tips and tricks on clear outs, which has helped me greatly. So it's just, yeah, always talking, and everyone has the confidence to talk to each other because we're all trying to get better. So as long as we got that same goal, it's always going to work.
I think us in Loughborough, particularly as universities, having these playing opportunities for players coming in is the most important thing, because they're able to, if they're not playing in their university side, they're able to actually play a really strong standard on the weekend and show themselves in front of myself, in front of other people, what they can do, what their talent is, and that allows them to progress. So yeah, it's a massive positive for us, and I think we've seen that this season again, particularly recently, and I know James will agree. We've had some young guys, 18, 19-year-olds come into the side. And again, I'm kind of thinking, well, is he going to be able to withstand that sort of level of rugby, that sort of change of physicality? But they've done fantastically well. We've had some outstanding performances from the young guys in the team. And it's sort of testament to them and how they can progress over the next couple of years, which is really exciting.
Just finally, guys, looking back to National 2 West and the final 4 games of the season. Of course, Old Redcliffians to come this weekend, Gareth. And we mentioned before kind of the ability you guys have had to pick up points in recent weeks, and obviously that victory against Bourneville. But this one against Old Redcliffians feels like a really good opportunity for you guys to get the win under your belt and potentially all but seal your place in National 2 rugby for next season.
Yeah, it's a really important game for us, and I think one that I'm really excited about. It feels like, because we've had a couple of rearranged fixtures in around weather, we've been on a long run of games, and actually this is the last game before a break weekend. So it's a chance for the guys to leave it all out there, really push for that win that, like you said, will get us to a point where it kind of feels a little bit more like we're securing our position. I think obviously not mathematically, but definitely from a confidence point of view. And I think, it also feels like we've been sort of on the road quite a lot this since Christmas, really. So actually to be at home, I'm sure there'll be a decent turnout from the guys that aren't playing. But also from, the weather's improving and it's a good time to watch rugby. So I think Saturday's going to be a really good game to watch. And I know the lads are chomping at the bit to make sure they put out a great performance.
I think we need to put out a statement now that we need to show that we're not just a uni side, we're here to make a big impact, and we definitely have the ability to do that. So as Gareth said, it should be a good little opportunity back home. First time in a while, and yeah, I think everyone's ready to go. Excited for it.
So a big thanks to both James and to Gareth for their time this week. Great to learn more about the programme down at Exeter University. And for any students watching this, heading to Exeter University to combine a high-quality degree with high-quality rugby in both books and, of course, National League Rugby certainly seems like a good option to me. And the current crop of players at Exeter University who ply their trade in the National 2 West side will be hoping to confirm their place in National 2 for next season in the remaining 4 games of this campaign. And Exeter could confirm their safety this weekend if results go their way. And in terms of the teams they are trying to pull away from, round 23 sees bottom club Devonport Services travel to one of Exeter's foes, Loughborough Students, with the visitors knowing they could be relegated this weekend if results don't go their way. But Ben Russell's side did beat Loughborough 17-0 back in round 11, so they will keep fighting until the very end. As for 13th place Bourneville, they are back at Avery Fields to take on Luctonians. Bourneville with 1 win from their last 14 games, but victory this weekend could reignite their survival hopes. And what about 12th place Macclesfield? Well, we mentioned before they are edging closer to safety, and they are on their travels for the penultimate time this season when they visit 3rd place Taunton Titans. In terms of the title race then, we mentioned that Cambourne go to Clifton in round 24, but this weekend won't be straightforward for either of the promotion candidates. Cambourne host Cinderford at the Recreation Ground, and the league leaders have won all 11 of their home matches this term, and whilst fourth place Cinderford are experiencing some patchy form at the minute, they did beat Cambourne back in November, so could they muster up something similar again in round 23? As for Clifton, they travel to 5th placed Hornets for a clash of the informed teams in National 2 West. Both clubs are on 5-match winning runs as things stand, with Hornets now 3 points off 3rd place. So could they deliver a sting to Clifton's promotion bid, or will the Lavender and Blacks' steely focus shine through once again? So a big weekend for both of the top 2 sides. And finally, 9th placed Hinckley, who have won 6 of their last 9 games. They visit 6th placed Redruth, who sit just 5 points ahead of them in the standings.